And I grew up watching music videos, and it was
nailed it.
It was a big joke. The whole idea was that I failed at all these proposals because I was...
They're more like surprises because they have real beginnings, middles, and ends. It's not just a quick appearance where someone shows up and we move on. They're there for a reason. I'm genuinely excited about that. As I've gotten a little older, I've realized how lucky I am to work in this industry and even more fortunate to have been able to do it for this long. Now, I really want to focus on working with people who are either immensely talented or people I truly love and consider close friends. Unfortunately, Hugh doesn't qualify as either of those. My relationship with my father was also very complicated and difficult. I come from a middle-class blue-collar background, and my dad was very much from that generation. Tough, traditional, and not exactly expressive. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds has just suffered what could be the most humiliating setback of his entire career. Deadpool fans are reeling as Justin Baldoni reportedly swoops in to take over the role, and Joe Rogan isn't holding back in his commentary. The Hollywood rumor mill is on fire with whispers that Reynolds has been pushed out of the Deadpool franchise, the very character he once made his own, only to see it handed to Bald, and as if losing his iconic anti-hero role wasn't bad enough. Rogan has added insult to injury by publicly criticizing Reynolds in front of millions. This isn't just another Hollywood spat. It's a serious blow to Reynolds' star power, and Rogan's brutal takedown makes the sting even sharper. How did the once golden boy of Hollywood end up in such a disastrous position? Sources say it all comes down to a bitter feud that escalated into a full-blown career nightmare. People close to the situation claim Reynolds' own decisions may have cost him the role that defined him. Now his future as Deadpool is hanging by a thread. His reputation is under siege, and with Rogan's public scrutiny, the world is seeing just how far he may have fallen. Buckle up. This scandal exposes a darker side of Hollywood where ego, betrayal, and public humiliation collide in dramatic fashion. Ryan Reynolds has allegedly lost the Deadpool role to Justin Baldoni. Yes, the wisecracking, red-suited anti-hero Reynolds brought to life has reportedly been taken away from him. According to Hollywood insiders, Marvel Studios was furious over backstage drama and made the bold decision to cut ties with Reynolds, recasting Deadpool with Baldoni in a shocking power play. How did it come to this? Some say Reynolds became too cocky and got embroiled in personal controversies that Marvel considered too risky, while others speculate the studio always secretly favored Baldoni, seeing him as a safer, less controversial choice that Reynolds simply couldn't compete with. So what exactly did Reynolds do to sabotage himself? Reports suggest he crossed a line by mocking Baldoni in increasingly strange ways. Remember the feud Blake Lively had with Baldoni? Reynolds allegedly couldn't resist getting involved, reportedly using his Deadpool fame to throw jabs, even creating a parody version of Baldoni in one of the films. Joe Rogan didn't hold back either, tearing into Reynolds on his podcast and saying the actor's ego ruined his career, joking that Deadpool was now dead for Reynolds. Rogan's massive audience watched as he called out the actor for losing control of a character he once treated as his own. This wasn't the first time Rogan criticized Hollywood elites, but going after Reynolds, the usually charming, untouchable Alistair, was shocking. He painted Reynolds as arrogant and short-sighted, someone unable to separate personal drama from professional responsibility. The sting of public humiliation was real. Imagine losing your most iconic role, while Joe Rogan laughs at your downfall in front of millions. And Blake Lively. Sources say she is absolutely furious. Blake was reportedly devastated by Reynolds' Deadpool fiasco, especially since this role was central to their family brand and now it's gone. Insiders claim she immediately called emergency meetings with PR teams to contain the fallout. Some reports suggest she's furious at Marvel and Baldoni, believing they plotted to undermine her husband, while others say she's angry at Reynolds himself for dragging both of them into the chaos. After all, Blake has been at the center of the feud with Baldoni from the start, and now her actions or reactions may have cost Reynolds dearly. The tension has reportedly reached a point where onlookers are questioning whether this once solid Hollywood power couple is starting to crack under the pressure. Reynolds' loss of Deadpool was shocking, but it may have been just the beginning. Things were about to take an even darker turn. To understand how Reynolds' world unraveled, we need to rewind to the broader battle in Hollywood. Reynolds and Lively versus Justin Baldoni. What began as a minor on-set disagreement quickly escalated into a full-blown legal war, pulling in studios, lawsuits, and now career casualties. The drama ignited late last year when Blake Lively accused Baldoni, her co-star and director on It Ends With Us, of sexual harassment and misconduct, claiming he created a toxic work environment and led a campaign to damage her reputation. Baldoni responded fiercely, denying the allegations outright, and by January he had filed a staggering $400 million lawsuit against Lively and Ryan Reynolds, accusing them of extortion and defamation. Yes, you read that correctly. Baldoni claimed not only that he was innocent, but that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds had orchestrated a coordinated effort to destroy him. From that moment on, it became an all-out war. Justin's team argued that what they viewed as threats made on Blake's behalf carried serious financial consequences. On top of the disruptions caused by the Hollywood strikes, they had filmed from May to June, then shut down for the strike, and remained stalled until January. Although the strike lifted in November, Blake reportedly had multiple return-to-work provisions that further delayed production. Court documents later revealed that Justin Baldoni alleged Ryan Reynolds confronted him aggressively, while Blake Lively's team supposedly orchestrated a brutal smear campaign to damage his career. At one point, a judge even had to step in, warning both sides to stop airing their disputes in public. The feud had become a spectacle, but behind closed doors, things only grew more toxic. Baldoni's legal team claimed Reynolds and Lively leveraged their Hollywood influence to punish him personally. Then came Deadpool. Marvel Studios found itself dragged into this bitter feud in ways no one could have predicted. Baldoni's lawyer presented shocking evidence suggesting Reynolds had inserted a character mocking Baldoni into the latest Deadpool film. Enter Nicepool, a man-bun wearing over-the-top ultra-woke version of Deadpool clearly modeled after Baldoni. In one infamous scene, Nicepool makes snide remarks about a female character's postpartum body and proudly proclaims himself a feminist, all while sporting Baldoni's signature hairstyle. For those following the Lively Baldoni dispute, the references were unmistakable. The references were
somebody's heart and inspire them to make a change in their life. Because that's what matters. And that's why, for me, that's why I'm in this business. That's why I want to be a storyteller, because those are the movies that impacted me.
Blake had accused Baldoni of fat-shaming her after her pregnancy, and Baldoni consistently portrayed himself as a vocal feminist ally. Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, didn't hold back, saying it was clear Reynolds was targeting Baldoni through this character. Friedman added, "If your wife has been sexually harassed, you don't turn the accused into a joke," directly calling out what he described as the tastelessness of using a real harassment claim as fodder for humor. The evidence didn't stop there. Baldoni's team sent formal letters to Disney and Marvel, demanding preservation of all documents related to Nicepool's creation. They alleged Reynolds, who was involved in writing and producing Deadpool, deliberately added the character after a heated confrontation with Baldoni on January 4th. Baldoni even updated his lawsuit to include a bombshell claim that Reynolds had used the film to bully and target him personally. The amended lawsuit described how Reynolds transformed Nicepool into a vicious mocking caricature of a faux feminist clearly aimed at Baldoni. Even more eyebrow-raising, Reynolds had the character killed off by Lady P, a character voiced by none other than Blake Lively. Art mirrored life, or rather, attacked it. Reynolds and Lively had effectively inserted themselves into the film as heroes, vanquishing a stand-in for Baldoni's legal team called it a transparent, malicious portrayal that reflected Reynolds' warped perception of him. It's jaw-dropping to think a Marvel blockbuster could become a tool for personal revenge. Hollywood watched this feud unfold with a mix of horror and fascination, and studios quickly began reacting. For Marvel and Disney, famous for fiercely protecting their brands, seeing their blockbuster dragged into a civil lawsuit was nothing short of a nightmare as soon as legal letters landed on the desks of Marvel president Kevin Feige and Disney CEO Bob Iger. Serious questions arose about Ryan Reynolds' judgment. Insiders say this may explain Marvel's drastic decision to bench him as Deadpool. No studio wants to risk partnering with an actor who uses blockbuster films to air personal grievances or creates legal jeopardy for an entire franchise. Other studios, sources claim, are now wary of collaborating with Reynolds, fearing any new project could become collateral damage in the Baldoni feud. Even Reynolds' brand deals and endorsements are reportedly distancing themselves, choosing to wait until the controversy settles. The once bankable, charming Ryan Reynolds is now starting to look like a liability to corporate sponsors, a stunning fall from grace for an actor long considered untouchable. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni has paradoxically seen his profile soar. This feud has thrust him into the Hollywood spotlight like never before. Just a year ago, he was primarily known to rom-com audiences and CW viewers. Now he's being celebrated as the underdog who allegedly stood up to Hollywood's golden couple. Baldoni is quietly thriving. Rumors suggest he's fielding new offers, and some insiders even claim Marvel has given him an early look at a potential superhero project. Landing the Deadpool role itself would be the ultimate prize. While Baldoni has not publicly commented on the recast, insiders speculate he's grinning behind the scenes. The role that Reynolds arrogantly assumed would be his forever could become Baldoni's ticket to A-list status. It's a dramatic Hollywood twist. Just months ago, Baldoni risked being blackballed by a powerful couple, and now he's seen as a principled figure who toppled a former king of the industry. The fallout for Reynolds and Blake Lively has been severe. Their reputations have taken a public hit. Corporate partnerships are wavering, and their image as untouchable Hollywood royalty has been tarnished. The feud, the lawsuits, and the Deadpool controversy have combined to create a cautionary tale about what happens when personal grudges collide with professional platforms. Even the biggest stars can face unprecedented consequences. Reynolds' image as the charming, funny, lovable jokester is now shattered. He's increasingly seen as the actor whose personal vendetta directly sabotaged a major franchise, and fans and insiders alike are saying his arrogance finally caught up with him. For years, Reynolds blurred the lines between himself and Deadpool, living on the edge with reckless abandon. Remember how he leaked Deadpool test footage back in 2014 to force the studio's hand? That audacious move made him a star, but today it reads more like unchecked arrogance. He believed he could do anything with the character, even weaponize it for personal revenge without consequences, assuming Disney would simply overlook it. He couldn't have been more wrong. Blake Lively, once the epitome of Hollywood grace, is now tangled in the fallout as well. Her aggressive legal campaign against Justin Baldoni dragged Ryan into a war that completely backfired. Hollywood insiders are saying Blake's tactics spectacularly misfired, making both her and Ryan appear vindictive and unprofessional, and turning what should have been a private dispute into a career-threatening public disaster. Just a year ago, the couple was untouchable and adored by teen. Now, they're scrambling to salvage their reputations. The evidence is out in the open for all to see: court filings, leaked footage, insider reports, Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit, and Reynolds' Deadpool antics form a trail that's impossible to ignore. Marvel's top executives have been pulled into the mess. Legal teams are clashing, and even high-profile commentators like Joe Rogan have publicly weighed in, amplifying the drama. This isn't just tabloid gossip, it's solid documentation of a Hollywood feud gone terribly wrong. And all the evidence points to Reynolds and Lively as the instigators who pushed things too far. Baldoni, on the other hand, stood his ground and emerged victorious in the court of public opinion, regardless of what the official legal outcome may be. The fallout for Reynolds has been devastating. He's effectively been exiled from the franchise he helped revive, forced to watch Deadpool, his pride and joy, slip into someone else's hands. Joe Rogan's public takedown ensured the world witnessed Reynolds' humiliation firsthand, laughing at how his own choices led to him being ousted from the role. This kind of public shaming will linger for years. Blake Lively's involvement only made matters worse. By launching the offensive against Baldoni, she triggered a chain reaction that directly led to Ryan's downfall. It's unlikely she ever imagined that her pursuit of justice would cost him a career-defining role. Now, a dark cloud hangs over both of them. Hollywood insiders are quietly questioning whether the Lively-Reynolds power couple is worth the trouble anymore. Their judgment, credibility, and decision-making are all under scrutiny. They may have believed their combined star power made them untouchable, but they're learning the hard way that no one is immune to consequences. Reynolds once assumed Deadpool would be his forever, but now he's helplessly watching it slip away while Rogan and the public scrutinize his every move. One industry insider summed up the disaster perfectly, saying Reynolds must feel as if the rug has been pulled out from under his entire career. Studios have turned on him, public opinion has soured, and even fellow celebrities are taking jabs. It's a Hollywood downfall of epic proportions. On the other side of the feud, Justin Baldoni is quietly emerging as the unexpected victor. He stood firm, and now he's rising from the ashes of controversy, reshaping his image and career in ways no one could have predicted. Just a year ago, Justin Baldoni now seems poised to step into far bigger opportunities, possibly even taking on the Deadpool mantle himself. While Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are left trying to piece together their fractured reputations, the contrast is almost poetic. The once untouchable superstar is plummeting, while the underestimated underdog stands tall in victory. Reynolds and Lively have fallen further from grace than anyone could have imagined. What was once a Hollywood fairy tale has turned into a cautionary tale. Deadpool moving forward without Ryan Reynolds is a sentence that would have been unthinkable just months ago. In this stunning twist, Justin Baldoni comes out on top while the once mighty Reynolds-Lively duo lies in ruins. Fame, pride, and manipulation have finally met their match, and the lesson is as clear as day. Hubris always precedes the fall. Ryan Reynolds has learned that lesson the hard way.